Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Vendor Spotlight. I am really excited to have a guest on today from the online summit that we did a couple of weeks ago. And her name is Nikki Ford. She is an intuitive spiritual healer, and we're going to be doing some card pulls today. Let us know where you're watching from. Now, I do have a StreamYard streaming platform that I use that helps make your viewing more enjoyable. And Facebook does have some security around that in this group settings. So if you would like to comment and let us see who you are, please allow StreamYard permission to post that info for you. So today I'm with Nikki Ford, and Nikki is a spirit and intuitive coach. She is an expert in holistic health, and she works with the spirit world to help her clients gain insight and depth within their own experiences. She has been in Kelowna for only a year, but she has made waves in her local community through her oracle card sessions. And so, as I was saying, Nikki was one of our expert panelists on the collective healing day that I did with the Holistic and Psychic Online Summit. And I am actually going to have a special that's starting, and you guys get the first sneak peek of it. I am offering a 2-for-1 summit purchase to our group. And that would give you access to all 3 days of that summit with a healing circle, immune boosting, and stress management. And the third day was the collective readings. So right now it is available on a paid version only, but I have a special offer that's coming out starting it this week, and it is a 2-for-1 deal. So I will post some details about that in the comments below. So if you'd like to comment, let us know where you're watching from. If this is your first time watching a Vendor Spotlight, if you're here and back for some more. And let's see, and then don't forget to give StreamYard that permission to see your info, and so that we can see it too and know who we are chatting with. Okay, so Nikki is here. I'm going to bring her into the stream right now. Hi, Nikki.
Hey.
How's it going today?
Good, thanks. Yeah, feeling good. Yeah, very glad that the lighting is better than it was 10 minutes ago. We had some challenges.
Yeah, it's been like clouding over and sunny, and when we're in front of those windows, that certainly does make a difference.
Yeah, but it happens. So yeah, it's been good. There's been a lot going on this side. I haven't been like terribly like busy, but there's definitely a lot of stuff that I'm personally working on, just my own self-care, my own inner work, and then a lot just going on with the collective. So it's just been a great time to relax and enjoy nature and really just be in that essence of self. So yeah.
Yeah, and I have, we've already got Kim watching here. Hi, Kim. So
Oh, 2-for-1.
Hi, Kim, thanks for watching. I like to bring in the comments like that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you found like lately, well, let's just start with that. Let's just start with the beginning. So how did you yourself get into the holistic field and start with intuitive coaching, and what's your story? Like how did that unfold for you?
Yeah, so I guess this was only a few years ago. Like I think I'm on the 3rd year now or so. I haven't really been keeping track, but I've been kind of in this whole realm for my whole life, but there was a time when I was really young when I wanted to fit in, and things were just definitely lots of like bullying and things like that coming up. So I really wasn't into like all of these sort of messages and things that spirit was sending to me anyway. And then so fast forward, I kept getting a lot of messages and a lot of different dreams and things come up, and I was like in a place of denial forever and ever. And then finally I was like, you know what, this isn't worth it anymore. Like I just don't feel like this is me. And I just decided to start studying meditation and mindfulness practices. And then from there I just had so many visions and messages coming from my guides to tell me to help people, like it's time for you to help people with their spiritual journey. And then just a few years ago I was like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of people do this and that it's viable and that it's possible, and it gave me a lot of courage and confidence to jump into that on my own. And I was in the business training with Elizabeth and Stephen, who run the interior wellness group there. So I did that for a little bit, and that really gave me the momentum to really, fire things up. And now it's just been like, things are finding me everywhere. People are coming towards me on Messenger or Instagram and just asking me about, messages from their guides, my guides to the collective. But yeah, it wasn't an easy journey, that's for sure. Like, I was always in the back of my head, I was always like, I just want to live a normal life and I just want to do this and that. And it turns out that's not really why I'm here. So I'm just really grateful to know that now.
Yeah. I know Elizabeth and Steve are definitely, they have it all dialed in when it comes to getting businesses online and giving support to businesses through the Women's Holistic Business Academy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so where do you do your practice now? Like, have you been affected by this COVID and like having people in person or online? Like, how has that affected you?
Yeah, so far it's actually been great, because I find that the more that this sort of unfolding is happening, the more that I'm actually getting more clients coming in. Whereas before, I think there was definitely a bit of a disconnection, especially if they had a lot on the go, and I did have another job I was working for a while. But, since that's kind of wrapped up and I'm focusing more on this, I am finding that has been reflective of the clients that are coming in. So the more I'm working on this as my sole project, the better things have been becoming. So it's almost been a great blessing, to be honest. Like, it's been great. And I'm just really glad to connect with the people I have, because there's people from South America and Spain and Australia and places that maybe I wouldn't be able to go right now. And it's been so amazing to know that we have the technology and the ability to do this online. So yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Yeah. All right.
Okay. And so we're going to be doing some card readings with you today. And if anyone would like to have some readings done, please go ahead and let us know. Oh, and Kim was saying, oh, hi, Nikki Ellison and Carly Penfold. Actually, that brings up a question, because I introduced you as Nikki Ford, but in Facebook, you're found as Nikki Ellison. Can you maybe share the differences in those, please?
Yeah, for sure. So that was just like a nickname of mine when I was working doing stage development and running festivals for a long time, like music festivals. And so that was just what I went as. It's just Nicole backwards, actually. And I realized that Facebook won't let me change it. So it's kind of just there. And I've been trying to change it for years. It just won't go back. So that's what I got. So yeah.
Oh, and my mom's on here too.
Oh, hey, Gail.
She's watching from Ontario, actually. So different time zone entirely.
Yeah.
I actually we get to see each other. Well, I see her picture on her Facebook thing, but she gets to see me once a week now when she comes on. So yeah, if anyone would like some cards, I have some questions for Nikki. If you have anything you're wondering about, please go ahead and type that in the comments, and Nikki will do some card pulls and speak to that and give her sort of messages as well. Yep. And let's see, we've got, you know what, why don't we do a collective reading right now for the group?
Okay, sure, yeah.
Or even for those watching the replay too. Oh yeah, if you're watching the replay, type in the replay. And if you're watching alive right now, say hello, let us know where you're watching from, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. We are streaming to both right now. If you're watching the replay as well, look for us also on our new podcast, available to be heard on Spotify and numerous other outlets, as well as I'll be uploading this encore presentation will be on Instagram TV. Cross fingers that works, because sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Technology.
100%.
Yeah. So why don't we do a collective group reading then, as a card that you pull, and kind of give some insights about that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I'm just going to take a moment here in presence and awareness with my guides and my angels just to be here in protection and to really facilitate this reading. I just call on all of the forces and the abilities of our spirit realm and those guides and people on the other side of this session today as well, just to ensure that we are here in goodwill and clarity, and to really just tune into our heart space. And if any of you out there are watching right now, just take a deep breath, because it's always a good thing to breathe in and breathe out the fresh air and see what comes up here. All right. I have the cards here. It's kind of my computer. There we go. It's a bit, I don't know if you'll be able to see the table today, but there we go. Thank you for being here. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, okay, so some things I got here, actually, it's funny that some of these cards came up today, because these two cards in particular, which I'll show on the screen here, the first one was this card, which is, here, I'll move my fingers. Sorry, my perspective is really tricky here. There we go. So the first card, I'll just hold that up, is the birch. There it is, the birch card, healing the past. That one has been coming up more than I've ever seen. This card here is the apple card, which is, I can't really uncover that, but believe in your dreams, the red cherries there. So the primary aspect of this card is that we're all going through this place of, moving through a lot of challenging emotions and a lot of things that, and what I've been working with clients lately on is that, we are sort of filled with all of these wounds and all of these things that we're looking to heal. Like, every single person on the planet does have some kind of trauma or some kind of experience that they can speak to that relates to this. And the biggest thing that's coming through right now is that, healing the past is essential. Healing those wounds, licking our wounds and healing them and bandaging them is primary in moving to our next place, which is in that energetic sort of manifested space, which I'll get into in a minute here. But yeah, this card really, and my guides have been telling me this all the time too. This is a card that is resonating with me right now as well, is that you have to get through that emotional crap. You have to move through it. You have to really face it head on and be courageous, because it's essential to be able to live out your dream life and live out those possibilities that could be and that you have always wanted to be, but perhaps maybe there's so much of this, all of these wounds that are just holding us back. And I don't know if there's anyone in particular that really speaks to today, but if it does, I mean, this is significant, because it's a very, very hard, but also very rewarding process to work through that, so that you truly can, radiate this amazing, healthful, energetic life that you may be envisioning or have envisioned for a long time. And so this card, the apple itself as well, I just did a 3-card draw, so they're all related. This one is basically like, from that courage comes confidence. The ability to just, like the apple, you don't eat a whole apple at, just one apple at one time. You have to take it one bite at a time. So this is reminding us that as we move through our pain, as we move through that trauma, as we move through those wounds, we can effectively take those bites little by little and really get into a place of possibility, really get into our activated potential as maybe spirit guided people or just humans more generally. But this card is beautiful. It really it has 3 apples on it as well. So that 3 is really about the, it's infinite. It's that infinite possibility of believing in one's dreams. So
you did 3 cards, Nikki?
Yeah, I did 3. Usually for perspective, I'll do 3 cards. Usually just sort of what's sort of from yesterday into now, and then what's going on in the present, and then what might be, a challenge or something that might be,
like
what
around the corner.
the future. Yeah, exactly. And so this last one is just reminding us that, even though there is that place where we can move through that trauma and everything and move into a space of believing in ourselves, believing in possibility, believing in our dreams, there may be a place where things get a little bit static, and things might get a little bit, like you might feel a little bit cold, or even physically, like your dantian, like your energetic center of the body, might be having a lot of temperature changes. But the big thing here is just to remember that through those, that moving through and healing, you can really be in a place where things might be more stable. So things might freeze in place, but it might be a really positive experience. But I think the big call is to really heal that past. This card is really screaming out to me today. It's like, this is what's required, and then things will start to really balance out and be in a place of just, it is what it is. No need to change anything. No need to modify anything. And just continually working on that path of healing. So, which I know a lot of people at this time are really calling on. So that's a big one for sure.
Yeah, what I got when I saw that static one, it was almost like a U-turn sign, as in, if you haven't done what the previous two cards have said, you need to go back and deal with that still. Like,
Totally.
it under the rug, or sweeping it under the rug. That we really do need to deal, like that birch tree one, like dealing with the emotional past and working through it, and then allowing that. And if we haven't done those steps yet, we can't move forward to that next one. We'll get that U-turn one. Go back, do the work first, and now you can come back, and then things will free up and not be as stuck or stagnant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think a big one that reminds us of too is just, if things do get in that place, not to feel like the healing is over, or you did something wrong, or that it's not, in this like place of perfection necessarily, because it's all perfect. It's all perfect. Like, people always say perfection isn't real, but it's like the perfection of the flaws, of the imperfections. That's really, it's a beautiful thing. And it just means that is so individual to oneself and their journey. No two journeys will ever look the same, right? So, it's a good reminder.
Yeah. And what have you found that's been coming up for your clients, like lately? Have you found that there's been a bit of a shift happening?
Yeah, and it's funny actually, because, well, my mom is not my client, but she is someone who has been going through this shift. And hey, Mom, if you see this at all, she's really busy. She's working a lot these days. She's really busy in her work. So, so she's been going through a huge health transformation, and she's realizing that her body is needing healing, it's needing repair. And she's even thinking about, perhaps, it might not be worth it to keep working until the full retirement. Maybe it would be worth it to take early retirement. She's not too sure yet, but that in particular has been monumental for her, because she's not really a spiritual, healthful person, really. Like, she's active and does her thing, but that's not really a paradigm for her. And I'm noticing that huge shift even within the feminine aspects of my own family. That's been a big shift. And then now I'm actually getting a lot of men messaging me and inquiring with me about sessions, and we've been working together. I have a few clients that are men now, and they're feeling like, oh, I don't know what to do with this feminine energy. I'm just feeling this huge course of energy I've never felt before, and all these emotions and crying and just like all of these things. And beyond just supporting them, I'm letting them know, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. This is a time for huge emotional release, because there's been a lot of stuff in the world that's been happening. We've really haven't been the kindest to our environment and to the earth itself. We've been dumping garbage and all these different things, and the environmental aspects of it. I truly feel that the earth is processing in a way, and it's processing through us. It's there is that emotional release that's happening, in the collective, and as well just with our earth more particularly. So it's something very notable, and I'm almost seeing that it's very much a pattern. Like, everyone that I'm working with right now is really moving through something very similar in their own way, of course, but a lot of those heavy emotions, a lot of just tears flowing, but not really sure where it's coming from, or I'm super happy, but it's just coming and coming and I don't know why. So that's been the biggest shift, I think, is just people being really real with their emotions and really raw and being willing to talk about it and not feel like they're alone. That's been a big one, just to reinforce that for my clients, at least to let them know that, I'm sitting on my meditation pillow at 6 a.m. and I'm bawling my eyes out right with you. So yeah.
Well, 6 a.m., I'm usually still in bed. I'm perfectly honest. Or if I didn't sleep well, I'm like, okay, I got another hour I can grab before I get up.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, a couple of things that you mentioned there. You mentioned having like the feminine energy. So maybe let's just talk about that, because the feminine energy is like a yin aspect of ourselves. It's what brings us more inwards, and it's what our internal self is dialogue is about as well. The opposite of that, the masculine energy, is more rambunctious and outgoing and out there, more like our public selves, who we are with others. And that's like that face that we put on when we're out in the world. But the yin, the feminine energy, that's really our inner world. It's our inner selves, that we have more reflection. We have more very emotional there too. The emotions that are associated as in a feminine way is like really loving and caring and compassionate, but more so in like a very nurturing way.
Totally.
And we're talking about feminine energy, and then also about the earth, and the earth is like Mother Earth, right?
Yeah.
Mother Earth is Gaia, like, is also breathing and is moving and is changing and is shifting as well on a constant basis. And one of the side effects of our human inactivity and lockdown is that now the earth has had time to breathe and renew, and the skies are clearing. There's a shift in nature as well. And if anyone is watching this and they're a highly sensitive person or in tune with any of that energy, then they're going to be feeling that too. So I think that it's important to recognize the different aspects of the energy that's around us, and where we're all kind of sitting in or shifting in, either in our day or in our lives or in a phase of our lives. That, are we in the feminine, healing, nurturing side, or are we on the masculine, go, 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 let's get out there, let's be more proactive in a more of I guess an aggressive way, but I don't really want to. Aggressive is not really it.
More like assertive, I guess, like just really asserting that.
More vocal rather than inward. So there's that yin yang aspect of it all, in the feminine and the masculine. And I'm glad that you this came up in our conversation, because I think that it's important to address that too, that we see these things in nature, but it's also a reflection within ourselves too, that we have this duality within ourselves, and usually it's one is stronger than the other. So if anyone else is feeling that feminine yin energy, let us know. Are you feeling more the masculine, the yang energy, the yin yang energy that is around? Let us know in the comments, like what are you connecting with more right now? What are you feeling through the emotions, and what are you going through right now as we're all undergoing these changes? So the first card that you brought up, Nikki, can you show that again with the birch tree?
Oh yeah, 1 sec here.
Then I'm going to ask you too about that deck of cards, what it is and who.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I like shuffled the deck. There we go. It's okay. We're usually in here. Yeah. So that's this one here.
Yeah.
The birch
Make
card.
that big again. Just hold that up still. And so that was the birch tree with healing the past. Yeah, I actually have a painting on my wall that looks similar to that.
Oh, that's so funny. Hey, yeah.
Which
I mean, these cards are very interpretive. Like, I find that some people will go into their books with their cards, and I think at the beginning of all of this, I had done that as well. Like, that was a primary aspect to me, being in relation with the cards. But now I'm recognizing that some of the imagery, and I noticed too that there's this one card in here actually that I've seen it in so many different lights, and I cannot explain why. Well, I know, like, my guides are obviously showing me different aspects of the card, but there's sometimes I see like a flower, for example, like this one. This is like a tulip, right? Sometimes I'll see this card and it looks like the flower is dying. And there's something really significant about that. And sometimes I see it and it's like the most crisp, fresh card I've ever seen. And so the interesting thing about these cards is that it's always presented differently in a context that makes sense to that reading. There's never a time when I have the same card twice that looks the same. There's always something little, some nuance in the card that I can recognize that's very, very specific. So, yeah, and
so
that
what was
birch
the
one in
message,
particular.
Nikki, what was that message that was on the tulip card for those that are maybe just listening on the podcast and don't have the visual?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's see. I was just making that as an example of what you'd see, but that one's all about trusting your efforts. So just trusting this one is, and I tie this a lot too to the chakra colors. So this tulip card is red. The tulips on there are red. And that one in particular, I find that really talks about the root chakra as like, if your root chakra is out of balance and there's something there that's really not grounded, then it's hard for you to trust in your efforts. So sometimes when I'm working with people and they have a root chakra imbalance, this card will come up upside down. So basically there's a blockage around trusting yourself because of that chakral block. And so just by seeing the color in particular, I'll all of a sudden make, like, my guides will start, making the linkages, and I'll start listening to, this is an oil or a practice or a thing that might work for them. Maybe there's an essential oil out there that helps with that frequency balance, or, maybe some kind of modality of someone I know that could really help with that particular aspect. And so the neat thing about these cards in particular is that really comes up a lot. There's a lot of different linkages, with all sorts of other modalities I've learned over the years anyway, but yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say that about the cards too, because I get that when I do my tarot card readings as well, is it's the same card doesn't look the same. It's like different things literally jump out or are highlighted or have more significance than others. In fact, I've been using the deck for like, it's probably 8-9 years now, even longer. And I still have things that pop out at me that I haven't even seen in there before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is so cool. So I get that. If anyone would like to have a card drawn for them, let us know in the comments. That if you have a question for Nikki, let us know. We are here on the Vendor Spotlight show. And if you're catching the replay, let us know that you're watching the replay too. Just type in those comments. Let us know where you're watching from. So Nikki, you had mentioned earlier you have you're launching a program of sorts, like
so this is
really not a whole lot certain about what it is. So can you share that with us?
I'm just laughing because that's been a big part of it, is like the concept has just been floating, and because of, like, it was all planned out around before obviously the coronavirus unfolding, and we were going to host this really cool self-care weekend at Sparkling Hill, and it was just going to be this next level thing. And then now I'm like, oh, well, we don't have a Sparkling Hill, we don't have a location. So my idea was, hey, why don't we take the self-care retreat home for people so they can just do it at their house? So essentially it's a really cool event. It's basically 2 days of intense self-care practices, yoga, meditation. We're going to be teaching Pilates, Zumba classes, you name it. There's going to be a lot on the go all weekend. But it's going to be really tailored with sort of daily self-care routines in mind. So I've got 2 high-level coaches. One is from California and one is coming in from Maui, Hawaii. And so we're all going to be on Zoom online. The tickets I just had them launched last night, so they're online now on Eventbrite. It's just under the Ultimate Self-Care Retreat. It'll be the weekend of June 26th and 27th. And essentially our big thing is that we want to make sure that, if you're really struggling with, waking, like for you, if you're having a tired day, I know, Carly, you were mentioning, I had a really, there's some days when I don't sleep very well and I sleep in, and we want to help people really just activate what's possible for maybe, their sleep routines, especially if you're not working right now and there's a lot of changes going on in your life. just to keep something consistent so that your body's responding well to that. You're feeling really good. We're going to talk a lot about holistic health tips and just ways to really streamline with just some cheap, easy, awesome supplements that are out there that are so accessible just about anywhere in the world. And then as well, I'm actually excited to host someone that I know who basically does sexual and like goddess coaching, and she really works with the feminine aspects of our world, at least, and helping people activate that within themselves. So I'm excited to have her on. So it's just going to be really cool, just really cool activities going on, lots of fun activities, but as well, able to learn something, able to really, for anyone who's attending, you know, you're going to be able to learn a lot, take these things into practice. I mean, these are all effective things that myself and the coaches that are involved have been doing for years, and we've just been loving those routines and would love to have other people really rock them as well. And then we're giving away prizes every day. So the only caveat is that you have to be there on the calls to win the prizes. So
So this is all online, and it's a 2-day event at the end of June. Tickets available on Eventbrite. Can you say the name of that program again?
Yeah, it's just called the Ultimate Self-Care Retreat.
Okay.
And yeah, so it'll be on there, and yeah, and it'll probably say Kelowna. That we're gonna make a couple of different posts and everything about it, so everyone will be able to find it pretty easily in the next couple days. So yeah, we just basically launching it as of yesterday night. So yeah.
And so is that like a Zoom thing, or how do people connect online? I know it's online, but how are they participating?
Yeah, so we're just gonna have it really synthesized so that, you know, for example, we'll have a couple yoga teachers and then someone who's doing like a meditation workshop, and all of those workshops will kind of be going on the Zoom call, and then people can jump in. They can jump in and jump out at any time, but there will be payment required for the weekend for the ticket. So you pay for the ticket, and you can pay for the day or for the whole weekend. We'll have some really good rates on that. And then you can jump in and jump out at your own leisure. And then usually in the evenings, we might wrap up a little early, because what we're going to do is we're going to send out some custom packages to people, and they're going to have like chocolates and bath salts and all sorts of really cool stuff, some journals, and just some little self-care elements that, you know, if we wrap up at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, then you can enjoy everything in the box, eat the whole bar of chocolate on the first night if you want to, because you know that I will, but you know, just stuff like that. So yeah, just have people enjoy that experience and have the time in the evening to be able to take full advantage of the things that we're giving them. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. And certainly it's one of the ways that, you know, our businesses are pivoting and going online as well. I know I got stuff in the works as well. Not ready to share yet, though.
Ooh, yeah. And to let you know too, so the other thing that I thought of today, which I thought would be really cool, is that any of the vendors that would like to join in our awesome weekend, you guys can receive 50% off of the ticket price for the weekend. So that's a really big value. I know that a lot of you probably, you know, you might be really busy with your clients. There might be a need for self-care and to just fill your cup up. So I just like to offer that and extend that to the people that are vending through the holistic market. I think it'd just be really valuable to have them there, and just a great, safe, beautiful place of self-love and care and learning some new things. So yeah,
make sure you post that in our exclusive group that we have for the active vendors, then into that group. Let them know. That would be great. Thanks for your generosity with that.
And that includes me too. So.
What's that?
That includes you too.
Oh yeah. Of course, that would be myself too. Okay, so yeah, if anyone's got any questions for Nikki, go ahead and type those in. We've got time for maybe one more card reading, and we can address somebody's questions. If you have something specific that you're wondering about or would like some clarity on through the card readings with Nikki, go ahead, type that in, let us know. Otherwise, we'll just do another card before we wrap up. And yeah, We'll get
Awesome.
going with that.
I actually just messaged Kim. I was like, hey, card reading, because I noticed she was on there quite a bit, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I was just chatting with her right before we came on here too. I'm like, come watch it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. You know what I realized too? My girlfriend, Tracy, do you guys know Tracy, The Real Truth with Tracy Hamilton? Do you know her? Anyway, she does card sessions, and I'm pretty sure she's doing a live right now and doing her cards. And like most of the people that are on with me are usually on with her, so it's a bit of a conflict. But you know, it is what it is. It's beautiful. I'm just really grateful to be in the same space with all these amazing healers and providers. It's just so cool. So
yeah. So Nikki, with those cards, where did you get them from? Like, how can people?
Yeah, that's a good question. So last year I was working in town. I first moved here and I was working, and my friend he was living in the Kootenays at the time. He had messaged me and said, hey, I'm going to this festival in Merritt and I'm coming through, and for some reason I just thought of you, and there's this card deck that I have. And I was like, oh, okay. So I said, yeah, sure, pop by my work, I'll take them. And then since then, it's literally, those have just become my primary deck I work with now. I was working with Earth Magic, the Oracle card deck by Stephen Farmer for a long time. And these ones were just next level up. I found that they are just so, I'm in such a deep connection with them. Even sort of the back of the cards themselves have this sort of like Celtic element to them. I find like it just feels very much like earthen, elven of sorts. And so when I saw them and I held them, I was like, these are the cards, you know. And so yeah, that's how they came to be. They just were given to me, and it was so random and unexpected, and I'm just really grateful they found me. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, so we'll do let's do one more card pull, and then we'll wrap up. And so if you're watching on the replay too, this certainly applies to you if you're hearing the messages as well. This is being done for the group collective. So if it resonates with you and dwell on it for the day, take a moment to really think things through. Particularly, I think today I'll be thinking about those last 3 cards you did with the healing of past wounds and emotional scarring, like that birch tree, like you said, it looked like, there's little wounds on it, but it's all being healed up and it's all part of growth.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which is, it's funny because like this is the next card, which is, here, I'll just move my finger. This is the cedar card. We're getting another tree here. This is the, strong, resilient cedar. Always very beautiful to see outside. This tree has a history of being like an ancient tree that is usually in Native tradition, for example, they use it for spiritual cleansing and healing. They'll use cedar bark to heal wounds. Actually, they used to put poultices of pieces of cedar bark, among other things, in wounds to heal them. But they're used in rituals around the world. The cedar tree is just such a powerful tree. But it's funny because you were talking about the birch, and this is so linked to it because it's really reinforcing that, you are protected. You are, you're in a place of healing, and you have no need to worry about, oh, maybe this will go wrong, or maybe this will happen, or I have to worry about this or that. Now is not the time to worry about those things. And the cedar card is really reminding us to take advantage of this time of solitude and of downtime with COVID to focus on our healing, to focus on what we need to move through. If we need to have a good cry about something and we're not really sure why, just let it happen. I mean, it's all a part of, really getting into that state of just, purifying the mind, purifying those wounds, cleaning them out completely. And just being in that sacred space within ourselves, within our connection to the spirit world and to our guides, because we have angels and guides that follow us all the time, everywhere. No matter what you believe, you could be Christian or, Sikh or whatever religion you want to follow. And that same tenet is still there. You still have something beyond our world, in a place of protection and just there for us. So just recognize that, if things get out of balance, just to draw back into that place of just taking a deep breath, relaxing, taking a step back and being like, okay, what does this really mean for me? You know, why do I need to really move through this? And to just take it for what it is, not to psychoanalyze it too much, just to be in presence with it, because it's so important when you're healing and when you're growing through things, to just be with it rather than have to label it or make it a certain way, which is, it's very congruent with the things that I'm working with with the clients that I'm working with currently. So yeah.
That's interesting. I actually have been using cedarwood this past couple nights as well. So now the cedar tree shows up. Yeah, grounding. Oh, that's so good. Well, thank you so much, Nikki, for being on the show today. And I so appreciate you sharing. I'm going to let people know too how to find more info about you. You do have your profile on the website, theholisticmarket.ca, and with all of your contact info on there, as well as a short write-up about you. So if people are wanting to reach out, they can reach you through there. And where else can they reach you? On Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah. So I've been transitioning over to Instagram now. So I'm at Inner Fire Coach Nikki on Instagram. Okay. It's the same thing on Facebook. Just type in Nikki Ford or type in intuitive. I think if you still type in intuitive coaching with Nikki, it'll come up on Facebook, but I'm usually on Instagram, and everything I post goes to Facebook. So you can find me on either platform. Awesome. Yeah. And if you wish to dive in further on any topic, or if there's anything here that really called or spoke to you, feel free to just send me a direct message. I'm usually available and would be happy to help anybody out there to get clarity and just, you know, be in that healing space. So
great. Well, thanks for being on, Nikki. Just stay in the studio there till I wrap up, and we'll just chat a bit after, okay?
Sure. Thanks so much. Take care.
Bye. And so, so next Tuesday, I have another vendor spotlight coming up, and that one will be with Miriam Kunha with Trans Vibrating. She's also one of the expert panelists that was on the Collective Healing Circle Day that we did the first one. So be sure to tune in for next week. I'll be scheduling that later today. And if you'd like to see the replay, you can catch it here in this Facebook group. You can catch it on YouTube. I'll be uploading it to Instagram TV. Or if you want to listen to it, if you're driving around somewhere or working out and you want to pop it in and give a listen, you'll be able to find us on our channel on Spotify, as well as some multiple other ones too. So thank you for watching, everybody, and we will see you next week. Bye.